Hi, today this is Unit 3 Triangle Properties and Day 2 Interior Angles of a Triangle. So what we have here on the first page is we have a summary of what we did the previous day, and that is classifying triangles by their sides and angles. So if we talk about classifying the triangle on the left, number one, by its sides, we see here that there are two congruent sides, and the word for that is isosceles. If we are looking at classifying it by its angles, we are looking at words like acute, obtuse, or right. And we can see here that the right angle box is present, that just highlighted in green. So this is indeed a right triangle. And this is a right isosceles triangle. When we look at problem number 2 on the right, and we look at its sides, we can see that there are three congruent markings that are saying that all the sides in the picture are the same length. And the word for that is equilateral. And then if we talk about its angles, once again, those words are obtuse, which mean we'd have a big fat angle in the triangle. We have right, but there's no right angle box. And then an acute triangle has all angles that are less than 90 degrees, and that is what we have here. So to recap, the words for sides of a triangle that can be classified by are scalene, none of the sides are the same; isosceles, two of the sides are the same or congruent; and equilateral, all three are congruent. When it comes to classifying triangles by their angles, we have an acute triangle, like problem number 2, where all the angles in the triangle are less than 90. So they're all less than 90. We have a right triangle, like number 1, where there's one right angle. And then lastly, we have an obtuse triangle, where one of the angles is greater than 90. It's big and fat. So, on to today's new content. The triangle interior angle sum theorem says that the sum of the measures of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. Okay. So these two problems, number 1 and number 2 on the screen, are actually some of our very more straightforward 2.0 problems. We want to be able to do more than this though. But here's a tip that I'm going to reference throughout this video. You always want to know two of the three angles. So if you're going to use this idea that all of the angles add to 180 degrees for the inside parts of a triangle, your tip is you always want to know two of the three angles. So if I look at number 1 here, I know an angle of 60 and I know an angle of 80. That is two of the three. So to find the question mark, the third side, all I have to do is take 180 minus 80 minus 60, and that gets me my answer of 40 degrees. So this question mark is 40 degrees. If I look at number 2, I also want to know two of the three angles. Well, it looks like I only know 70. But this box here is 90 degrees. So I know two of them actually. So to find the question mark, I will start with my total of 180, and I will subtract 70, and I will subtract 90, and I get a final answer of 20. And that is the final answer for the question mark. So two very straightforward problems. We want and we expect you to be able to do a little bit harder of a problems, which you'll see on the next page. So let's take a look at those. Some more complicated diagrams for sure, especially number 3. Number 3, it's got a triangle and it's got like an extra little like tip off to the side. So let's try and use the tip that we talked about on the other page. So here's my triangle. I highlighted it in green. Do we know two of the three angles on the inside? I know 124 is at the top, but that's it. I don't know two of the three. So that's a dilemma that we want to overcome. And we can overcome it by focusing our attention right here. We've got this angle VTU, I highlighted in yellow, and this angle WTU, highlighted in green. Those make a linear pair. And hopefully you remember that a linear pair is sup from our first unit. And then sup is where the two angles add up to 180 degrees. So if I want to find this part that I just put a circle on, I know that that circle plus 150 will add to 180. So I can take my angle total of 180 for a straight line, and I can subtract 150 and get 30. So that little red dot is 30. Okay. Now, remember the original dilemma or the original problem was we didn't know two of the three angles in the green highlighted triangle. But now I do. I know one of them is 124 and I know the other one is 30. So since all of the angles add up to 180 degrees, we can take 180 minus 124 minus 30 to find our answer. I did not come prepared with a calculator. I apologize. 180 minus 124 minus 30 is 26. And that is the final answer. So knowing that we wanted two of the three angles in the triangle, we use that to help problem solve. Let's take that same approach with number 4. Number 4 has two triangles. The question is, where should we start? Should we focus on the yellow triangle or the green triangle? Well, the way we're going to know is if we know two of the three angles in the triangle. So looking at the yellow, I know 98, and I know question mark. I don't know this one right here that I'm pointing at on my cursor. But in the green triangle, I know 93 and 32. That's two of the three. So we're going to start here. That's because you know 2 of 3. So we'll take 180 minus 93 minus 32. 180 minus 93 minus 32 is 55. So the third angle in the green triangle is 55. Well, that's great and all, but how is that 55 supposed to help me with the yellow triangle? Well, remember that these are congruent because these are vertical angles. So if 55 is in the green triangle corner, well, that makes this one also 55. They're congruent. Now I know 2 of the 3 in the yellow triangle, so I can do my subtraction. 180 minus 55 minus 98 gets me a total of 27. Boom. And there we go. So we would expect as your teachers that for a 2.0, you can do some of these more complex problems. Remember the ideas of linear pair, remember the ideas of supplementary with linear pair, but also vertical angles are congruent. Those two vocabulary words are not going to go away as we continue going throughout the year as well. So make sure you fully understand them. Let's look at some 3.0s. So the 3.0s, like in our previous unit for transformations, the content, there's no new content for the 3.0. It's just an application of the 2.0 to be successful. So everything that we've talked about, all the math, we've already talked about in this lesson. All we're doing is we're applying it. Okay? So let's read together. Tony wants to build a skateboard ramp, like the one below. In order to construct it properly, he needs to position the boards for CA, AD, and ED in a certain way so that angle B is 20 degrees. Go ahead and mark 20 degrees in your picture. Angle C is 120. And angle D is 70. The directions don't tell him the other angles, so he needs to calculate angle CAB, angle DAE, and angle DEA. So CAB, CAB Remember, the middle letter A is the vertex, so C is over here, B is over there, so it's this question mark right here that I'm pointing at. And then angle DAE is on the other side, and then DEA is on the far right. So we can't start in the far right triangle because I don't know 2 of the 3, but I can work on this triangle here on the left. I know 20 degrees and 120, so that the total of 180 degrees in a triangle, subtracting one angle of 20, subtracting the other angle of 120, we can get my answer of 40 degrees. That's good and all, but that doesn't get me that question mark over there. Those are not vertical. Okay? These highlighted question marks are not vertical angles. Not vertical angles. However, these angles together, the 40, the 80, and the question mark, are all sup. They're forming a straight line. Therefore, a straight line adds up to 180 degrees. So 180 minus 40 minus 80 can get me to my answer of, what is that, 60? Yep. So this is 60. And that is angle DAE. So I forgot to put my 40 in. Now we know 2 of the 3 angles in the third triangle. We know 60 and 70. So we can find the question mark by taking 180 minus 70 minus 60. And that is, I believe, 50. But let's just double check. Yep, 50. So as you can see here, there is no new math content from the 2 to the 3. The 3 is just the application of knowledge of the 2.0. And that is all for lesson 2. The interior angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Please do your practice work. Let your teachers know if you need any help. Remember, Bucks win is also an option. Thanks for watching. Bye.